The heart of New York City just changed hands, and maybe its future too. A new mayor has taken office. Now standing at the helm of America's largest city, he's promising rent freezes, free public transit, and higher taxes on the wealthy. For some, he's a hero of the people. For others, a warning sign that New York is stepping into dangerous territory. But here's the real question. Is this the start of a new American experiment or the first spark of a deeper divide? Because if his vision succeeds, other cities will follow. But if it fails, the fallout could shake the foundation of America's economy itself. Who is Zohran Mamdani? Zohran Mamdani isn't your typical politician. Born in Uganda and raised in Queens, he grew up seeing the daily struggles of New Yorkers, rising rents, crowded apartments, and neighborhoods left behind. Those early experiences shaped his worldview, pushing him toward activism long before he ran for office. Mamdani became known for fighting housing injustice and leading anti-eviction campaigns, often standing side by side with tenants and grassroots groups. His core message is simple but powerful. People over profit. That's our goal. For working families, that resonates deeply. For Wall Street and the city's elite, it raises red flags. Now, as New York City's mayor, Mamdani represents a new generation challenging the old ways. No backroom deals, no corporate first priorities. His focus is on fairness, justice, and making life livable for those who've been sidelined for decades. It's a bold stance, and it comes with enormous challenges. Balancing progressive ambitions with fiscal realities is never easy, and the city and the nation are watching closely. Every policy, every speech, every decision could set the tone not just for New York, but for cities across the country. His economic vision. Mayor Zohran Mamdani is shaking things up in a way few expected. At the core of his economic plan are policies aimed squarely at lifting working-class New Yorkers, but they also come with serious challenges. First up, free public transit. For low-income workers who rely on subways and buses every day, this could be a game changer. No more worrying about a $127 monthly Metro card. But this relief isn't free. The city's budget will take a massive hit, and critics warn it could worsen fiscal pressure. Then there's the proposed rent freeze. For thousands of tenants squeezed by skyrocketing rents, it's a lifeline. Families who've been priced out of Queens, Brooklyn, or the Bronx could finally breathe. Landlords, though, see it differently. Property owners argue that freezing rents could stifle maintenance, investment, and future development, creating tension between tenants and the city's housing market. And Mamdani isn't stopping there. Higher taxes on the wealthy are central to his plan. He wants to shift the burden, making the rich pay more so the city can fund social programs and infrastructure. This message lands like a rallying cry for working-class New Yorkers, but it sets off alarm bells for businesses, investors, and financial institutions who fear capital flight or slowdowns in private investment. At its heart, this isn't just policy, it's philosophy. The mayor's agenda challenges the very framework of America's capitalist system, testing how far a city can redistribute wealth while maintaining growth. For supporters, it's justice in action. For opponents, it's a risky experiment that could reshape the city's economy. Every move will be scrutinized. Every success or failure will be amplified. Because what works or fails in New York may very well echo across the country. The mayor isn't just running a city, he's leading a test case for America's future. What it means for New York. New York City is already a city under pressure. A $50 billion budget gap looms, inflation continues to squeeze families, and nearly 500,000 residents have left since 2020, seeking lower costs and safer streets. The first thing to understand is the tension between ambition and reality. The mayor's vision is progressive, rooted in justice and fairness. Free public transit, rent freezes, and higher taxes on the wealthy are designed to ease the burden on the city's working class. For many families in Queens, Brooklyn, and the Bronx, this message resonates deeply. Parents who've struggled to pay rent, teenagers who can't afford after-school activities, small business owners feeling invisible in Manhattan's shadow. all see a glimmer of hope. But the city's financial reality is harsh. With a massive budget deficit, every dollar allocated to new social programs comes with a trade-off. Infrastructure projects, school funding, and public safety must compete with these ambitious reforms. The mayor is walking a tightrope, offer relief without crippling the city's capacity to function. And for critics, this is where the worry lies. Will these policies inadvertently slow growth, deter investment, or create fiscal strain that worsens the very problems they aim to solve? Small businesses, the lifeblood of New York's neighborhoods, are already under stress. Inflation has driven up rents, wages, and supply costs, leaving cafes, bodegas, and local retailers struggling to survive. The mayor's policies may offer relief for residents, but landlords and business owners fear tighter regulations, frozen rents, and higher taxes could push some to shutter entirely. Imagine a street in the Bronx where the corner deli closes because maintaining the building under a rent freeze is no longer profitable. For the community, that loss isn't just about goods and services. It's about a piece of daily life, a familiar face, a meeting place. Visually, the contrast is striking. Wealthy Manhattan towers gleam, symbols of finance and power, while neighborhoods in the Bronx or parts of Queens tell a different story. Struggling schools, crumbling infrastructure, and streets that reflect years of neglect. The mayor's policies are designed to bridge this divide, but it won't be easy. Bridging decades of inequality and structural economic challenges requires more than speeches and promises. It demands careful implementation, accountability, and the buy-in of a city used to its rhythms of chaos and order. The mayor's approach also touches on the social fabric of the city. Rent freezes and transit subsidies are more than economics. They shape people's daily lives. Teens can ride the subway freely to school or after-school programs. Parents won't have to choose between groceries and rent. These policies directly affect morale, hope, and community cohesion. But if mismanaged, they could also exacerbate tensions between tenants, landlords, and city officials, creating friction in neighborhoods that were already stretched thin. Critics point to history for cautionary tales. New York has faced fiscal crises before, most notably in the 1970s, when near bankruptcy and a mass exodus of residents and businesses left scars that lasted decades. The mayor is aware of these lessons, often referencing the need to balance idealism with pragmatism. But in a city this complex, even the best laid plans can face unexpected hurdles. Economic downturns, rising crime, and external factors like migration trends or federal policy shifts could undermine his vision. For New Yorkers, the stakes are personal. Can a city built by ambition survive policies built on redistribution? For working families, the mayor represents hope and a chance to reclaim a piece of the American dream that seems increasingly out of reach. For Wall Street, developers, and wealthy residents, he's a potential disruptor to the systems that have maintained wealth and influence for generations. This tension is at the heart of what makes his tenure so consequential. Ultimately, the mayor's policies will test not just the city's budget, but its spirit. New York has always been resilient, a place where challenges are met with creativity and grit. The success or failure of this new vision will ripple far beyond city limits, sending signals to other major cities, investors, and citizens across the country. Every subway ride, every rent check, every neighborhood street becomes part of the story, illustrating how policies touch real lives in tangible ways. In the end, the mayor's trying to do something few politicians attempt: reshape the city to be fairer, more accessible, and more humane, without collapsing the system that keeps it running. It's a high-stakes experiment unfolding in real time, and for the people of New York, the outcome will define their city's future for years to come. The ripple effect across America. New York City doesn't exist in a vacuum, and neither does the mayor's bold vision. What happens in the Big Apple sends ripples across the nation, shaping politics, economies, and even social norms in cities hundreds of miles away. Take Los Angeles, for example. The The city is facing its own housing crisis, with soaring rents and an ever-growing homeless population. Progressive candidates there have taken note of the mayor's plan. If free public transit and rent freezes work in New York, LA might consider adopting similar policies, despite concerns about budgets and implementation. Chicago is another city paying attention. Tax reform debates have been ongoing for years, and the mayor's higher tax approach for wealthy New Yorkers adds fuel to the conversation. Conservatives see it as a warning, the kind of socialist-leaning experiment they fear could eventually appear in the Midwest. Seattle provides yet another lens. The tech industry dominates the city, much like it does in parts of New York, and rising rent control measures and potential tax hikes are hot topics. Even cities experiencing migration trends like Austin are paying attention. As residents leave blue states for lower-cost areas, these cities are grappling with population surges and housing pressures. The mayor's policies in New York may influence political movements in such migration hotspots. Will Austin see similar demands for tenant protections or tax reforms? Will conservative-leaning cities resist these ideas, or will the pressure of rising populations force adaptation? Every step the mayor takes has the potential to spark change or resistance far beyond the 5 boroughs. The ripple effect isn't just political, it's social and cultural. From New York skyscrapers to small-town diners in the Midwest, Americans are paying attention. Beyond the numbers, the mayor's policies are challenging assumptions about what American cities can and should be. The conversation now includes questions Americans rarely ask. Should cities prioritize profit or people? Should wealth redistribution be part of urban planning? What's the true cost of making a city livable for its majority versus its elite? In every diner, coffee shop, and classroom across the nation, these questions are being debated, all because of the mayor's bold approach in New York. Every recession in American history has shifted the political landscape, and this one may be no different. In short, Mayor's vision isn't confined to New York. It's a spark, a test, and a challenge rolled into one. The eyes of the nation are on the city, watching to see if this experiment can succeed without collapsing under its own weight. The political divide. Mayor Zohran Mamdani's bold vision for New York isn't just stirring debate in City Hall, it's dividing the nation. Across the country, opinions are polarized, and both sides are watching closely, trying to predict whether his policies will succeed, fail, or spark unintended consequences. What's happening in New York is more than local politics. It's a mirror reflecting the ideological battles simmering across America. On one side, conservatives are raising red flags. To them, the mayor's agenda, rent freezes, free public transit, higher taxes on the wealthy, is socialism disguised as urban policy. They argue these measures punish success, drive businesses out of the city, and threaten the economic foundation that makes New York a global powerhouse. In boardrooms, newsrooms, and living rooms alike, they warn that if New York stumbles, other cities might follow, spreading economic instability and eroding traditional American values of capitalism and personal responsibility. Meanwhile, progressives are celebrating. They see the mayor as a breath of fresh air in a political landscape often dominated by corporate interests. For them, this is justice long overdue, a chance to put people over profit and finally tackle the growing inequality that has defined New York for decades. Housing advocates, social activists, and low-income families are hopeful that this new leadership will turn promises into tangible change, helping communities long neglected by past administrations. And here's the critical point. This divide isn't temporary. It's not just about New York or about a single mayor. It's a reflection of a deeper national conversation about values, fairness, and what the American dream means in 2025. Will cities continue to prioritize growth and profit above all else? Or will they embrace policies aimed at social justice and community well-being? The mayor's approach forces this question into the spotlight, making it unavoidable. Ultimately, the political divide surrounding the mayor is a story of tension between fear and hope, conservatism and progressivism, status quo and change. Both sides have valid concerns, and both are emotionally invested in the outcome. The challenge for New York, and for the mayor himself is navigating these turbulent waters without losing sight of the city's needs, the residents' hopes, and the practical realities of governance. The divide is real, it's emotional, and it's defining. How the mayor balances these competing pressures will shape not only the city's future, but also serve as a litmus test for progressive policies in America at large. In a nation where politics often feels like a tug of war, the mayor's experiment is putting the rope squarely in the hands of New Yorkers. And all eyes are watching to see who will win, who will compromise, and who might be left behind. Reinvention or ruin? Now comes the million-dollar question. Can Mayor Zohran Mamdani turn New York into a city that's livable, fair, and thriving again? Or will his bold vision trigger another urban crisis? The stakes are enormous. New York has survived fiscal collapses before, most notably the near bankruptcy of the 1970s, and the lessons from history are both cautionary and inspiring. The mayor is walking a tightrope, balancing ambitious social programs against the harsh realities of a $50 billion budget gap and an economy still reeling from inflation, outmigration, and pandemic shocks. For supporters, the mayor's plan is a chance at reinvention. Free public transit could connect more residents to jobs. Rent freezes could stabilize struggling neighborhoods, and higher taxes on the wealthy could fund social programs that help the city's most vulnerable. It's a vision of a city that prioritizes people over profit, a New York where equity and opportunity matter more than unchecked growth. Experts point to small successes: neighborhood revitalizations, community-led initiatives, and pilot programs in housing as potential blueprints for larger-scale transformation. Yet critics warn of ruin. Even well-intentioned policies can backfire if the city's economic engine falters. Businesses might relocate, investment could dry up, and the exodus of residents might accelerate. The mayor's proposals demand careful planning, smart fiscal management, and unwavering political will, all while navigating entrenched bureaucracies and skeptical voters. Missteps could have ripple effects, not just for New York, but for other progressive cities watching closely. Teenagers growing up in historically neglected neighborhoods dream of better public transit and safer streets. The mayor's policies are more than numbers on a spreadsheet. They're a test of whether a city can reinvent itself while keeping its soul intact. The truth is, no one has a crystal ball. Maybe this time, New York's story won't be about falling apart. Maybe it will be about finding a new way to stand, proving that even one of the world's largest, most complex cities can embrace change, balance fairness with fiscal responsibility, and emerge stronger. The mayor's experiment is a gamble, but in New York, bold bets are part of the city's DNA. The story of New York has always been bigger than just one city. It's a reflection of America itself. Bold dreams, high stakes, and the constant tension between ambition and reality have shaped its streets, skyscrapers, and neighborhoods. Mayor Zohran Mamdani's rise isn't just a political story. It's a symbol of a country asking itself what kind of future it wants. Will it continue to prioritize profit, or will it embrace policies that put people first? For millions of New Yorkers, the mayor's vision offers hope: relief from soaring rents, better public transit, and a chance for neighborhoods long ignored to finally thrive. Yet, for others, it's a warning, a reminder of the delicate balance between progressive ambition and fiscal reality. The city stands at a crossroads, and the decisions made in the coming months and years could ripple across the nation, shaping the politics, economy, and social fabric of cities far beyond Manhattan, Queens, and the Bronx. From Wall Street to small-town diners, Americans are watching closely. What happens in New York doesn't stay in New York. It sets precedent, sparks debate, and challenges the very idea of the American dream. Do you believe Zohran Mamdani's plan will fix New York's problems or make them worse? Drop your comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Living Wise Global, your window into America's changing story. Because understanding these shifts isn't just about politics. It's about the life and future of the country we all call home.